Good evening, Paula. Emmanuel Hayes was 19 years old. He graduated from this high school a little under a month ago.
Either way, she is seeing the show this weekend, arguably one of the best shows out there. Live in downtown, I'm Cassie Arsenal, Local 12 News.
Head to toe for the whiteout. Hey, ain't no party like a Bengal trailer party. I've been coming to this thing for years.
Kyle, that's right. It's been a very active scene since around 8:30 this evening. Now,
meet 6-year-old Addi.
She's very outgoing, very outspoken, and goofy.
Her personality was on full display when I asked for an interview, and she asked for the mic.
My name is Addison.
She's faced one challenge after another in her 6 years. She was born with proximal femoral focal deficiency. It affects about 1 in every 200,000 kids and caused her left leg to be a lot shorter than her right. As a result, she's endured multiple surgeries.
We did 2 to 3 knee release surgeries, but they were unsuccessful. So at the age of 3, we decided to do amputation, as that's what her surgeon said would be best for her at that time.
Her mom says throughout all of it, Addi's never lost that smile.
After her amputation surgery, the very next morning, she was up in a wheelchair and rolling down the hallways at Dayton Children's.
After surgery, Addi had to get used to a prosthetic leg, and she soon picked up the game her mom played in high school.
Once she was able to walk a little bit with her new prosthetic around the age of 3, I started getting her outside in just our front yard kicking.
She's fallen in love with soccer and last year joined a team for the first time. As she began to play more, her normal prosthetic made it challenging to move around on the field.
She needs something more durable that will help her be able to be more flexible and run faster.
The prosthetic costs around $7,000 and isn't covered by insurance. Aaron Hunter heard about Addi's story from friends and organized an online fundraiser to help.
More than anything, if I can help somebody else be able to play the sport in some way, shape, or form, then I'm doing my mission.
It's a great feeling to see her get out there and play just like all the other kids, and nothing stops her or gets in her way at all.
In Middletown, Tyler Madden, Local 12 News.
I'm just going to miss him.
Friends are coming together tonight to remember Chief Bob Wysong. He served as chief of the Clinton-Warren Joint Fire District for 40 years. And for 39 years, Don Muchmore was by his side. But their bond formed much earlier, growing up in Clarksville.
Somewhere back when we were 4, 5 years old, we started throwing things at each other over the fence, whatever. We had a little fence between our yards, and we both learned to jump over that fence real fast.
He remembers his lifelong friend as someone who was always there for anyone.
He was one of those people you could count on. If I needed something, I could call him. He'd be there.
And his calming presence.
It was really his job then to restore hope for people or to get them through the panic. You know, he could do it. He was real good at that.
Wysong oversaw major improvements at the department, including its expansion to 44 firefighters.
When we started, officially, we had 2 trucks, and they were used vehicles. And he built this into this. And he had a vision like that all along. He wanted to have a state-of-the-art fire department where he could take care of people.
Captain Brad Burton points to the training facility outside the fire station as one of Chief Wysong's biggest accomplishments.
For this region, there's not a lot of those training facilities around and those assets to be utilized.
His gear sits inside a quiet firehouse, coming to grips with such a loss. Outside, a message.
We just love Bob, and we'll miss him. But I know he's okay. Maybe they needed a fire chief in heaven. I don't know.
In Clarksville, Tyler Madden, Local 12 News.
Today in Goshen Township, you'll hear cars and you'll hear lawnmowers. But no one can forget the 130-mile-per-hour winds they heard 1 year ago.
And I thought, boy, I never heard a wind like this. And the windows was a-popping and making noise.
Paul Lyons went to his basement and waited for the storm to pass. No time at all, compared to the 5 months he waited for repairs after a tree came crashing through his roof.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess back here. I'm getting there.
It took William Doan 8 months to have his roof replaced and his deck rebuilt.
It took basically almost 2 months to get the insurance escrow account and everything settled so that you could actually start.
The tornado carved a path 750 yards wide and 2.5 miles long, damaging 298 structures, including this home. A new one stands in its place today. The tornado ripped through Goshen Fire Station 18. Thankfully, none of the people inside were injured, but a year later, this building still sits empty and badly damaged as the township decides whether to repair it or demolish it and rebuild from scratch.
The big holdup is code interpretation. Fire stations are now essential facilities, so we fall under sort of a different category.
Firefighters now work out of this makeshift station. The police station and government building have been repaired, but it's taken them nearly every bit of a year.
In fact, until just 2 weeks ago, we were still repairing police cars. So every one of our police cars was damaged.
Just when you think things are back to normal, a reminder of how far you've come. In Goshen Township, Luke Jones, Local 12 News.
In 2022, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office sent 20 cadets to the State Peace Officer Training Academy, OPOTA for short. 18 of them graduated. The other 2 were not even allowed to take the final exam because they failed the fitness test, a measurement of push-ups, sit-ups, and a 1.5 mile run.
Frustrated that I went through all of this training and wasn't able to get any credit for it.
Hamilton County Corrections Deputy Jocelyn Blevins did more push-ups and sit-ups than required. But during the run, shin splints kept him from making time.
I actually kind of bared through the pain as much as possible. The second attempt, I was half a lap and did not finish as well.
Despite high marks, A's in every other category, shin splints cost Blevins everything. Hamilton County Jail Sergeant Emily Vanderwright is in the same position after going through the academy in 2016 and 2017.
The first week of October, I blew my knee out running at Butler Tech.
Sergeant Vanderwright got a 4-month medical extension, but it wasn't enough after surgery and rehab. So, Vanderwright, the valedictorian of her class, fails out because she's too hurt to run.
I don't know why one small portion of a almost year-long academy doesn't allow you to test and prove that you've sufficiently passed all the other portions of the academy.
Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey appealed to OPOTA in hopes of allowing Blevins and another deputy in last year's class to take the exam despite failed fitness tests. The other deputy failed because OPOTA says he didn't lock elbows on 2 of his push-ups.
I have 2 deputies right now whose careers are on the line.
After repeated requests to OPOTA and Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, she even made it known she was coming to 2 recent OPOTA board meetings, but both were eventually canceled. Now, speaking publicly about the problem, McGuffey has backup.
I think the 2 and you're done standard is very strict.
Pickaway County Sheriff Matthew Hafey was in the position of McGuffey's deputies years ago. He missed his first run by 3 seconds and had to repeat the academy.
This is just something that holds back good quality people who would do a great job in law enforcement, become great deputies, great officers.
After months of asking, begging for a chance for her deputies to take the exam, OPOTA sent this letter approving a 3rd attempt for Blevins and the other deputy to complete the fitness assessment pending medical documentation.
I didn't even know there was a 3rd option, and when I tried to get a 3rd option, I was told flat no. It wasn't until I went to the press that I actually got a memo that says, oh, well, maybe we can address a 3rd option.
Local 12 asked Yost about the rules and the current situation of McGuffey's cadets. He says changes are now coming.
We quietly put together a task force, and we began reviewing our physical fitness standards for, do these actually relate to the job?
Yost wouldn't elaborate on the changes, but did say the run test likely changes. While McGuffey wants fitness standards reform, it's not what she's asking for at the moment.
Let them take the final exam, then they can pass or fail that. If they pass it, great. Now they're eligible to finish up the PT portion that maybe they failed, all right? And then they'll have a period of time to get that done. That's the real issue here, not the 1.5 mile run.
For Yost, rules are rules.
Every test has a cutoff. Your kid might have a 69 and 70 as the passing grade. That doesn't mean they passed the test just because they came close.
You talk about defunding the police. I'd say this is a little bit responsible for that.
McGuffey says she just wants cadets to get credit for the work they put in and paid for.
I'm not trying to make enemies. I'm trying to do the right thing, and that's what the state should do.
Inside the freshman wing of Springer School, students break up into groups to finish up their last assignments of the day. Among them, Josh DeBras. Josh's parents say he was diagnosed with ADHD when he was younger and struggled in school.
He just has this bright light about him, and he just thinks outside of the box, and that's not always appreciated, but here it is.
His parents spent months in search of the right fit, and in just the first few weeks at Springer, they've seen a big difference.
Coming in here where he was no longer the one being pulled out, no longer the one that was different.
Well, I really like that they figure out the best ways that I learn, and then they put that into like the ways I work and the classroom setting.
Josh showed off some of his most recent work, a paper roller coaster. The goal was to design something where a marble could make it from the wall to a cup on the floor, all while making a lot of new friends.
All my old schools, I never really had like a true friend that stuck with me. I've only had a couple, and then once I came here, everybody's just like with me all the time.
Seeing the impact of the 9th grade program, Springer announced plans to open a dedicated high school building next August.
Our small classrooms in lower school, middle school, and now the high school allow teachers a system where they can really get to understand the kids and their needs.
Things like tests being read aloud, things like audiobooks, voice to text.
Work is well underway to find that new space to house the high school, a place where Josh and his friends will continue to make memories for years to come.
To hear him say, my favorite part of the day is school. To hear him say, I'm good at school. Things we never heard in the previous 10 years.
It's a gift to be able to see that in him.